Okay, and while people are getting on here, I wanted to share one more video. Don't let me blare your ears here, but watch this and take note. It's, of course, Dave Matthews Band, right? Because that's what I love. But there's a lot you can learn from this video, okay? So take note. Can you hear it?
My body's starting to say, give me a little more air.
Can you hear it?
Four times. Ha 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 ha. More Yeah.
It's like a seam on your trousers.
Okay. Ah, come on.
I always go.
All right, but you're not singing it like you doing it in front of an audience right now either. Go to the bathroom.
Yeah.
Yeah. Hey, hey. All right.
That's crazy.
Okay, so what did you guys see there? Any ahas from that video?
Relax.
Gotta
Do
have
it like you're in the shower.
right? Relax. Do it like you're in the shower. What else? How does he have to still do vocal scales before every single show? Right? Wouldn't you think he does not need to do that anymore? He doesn't need his coach telling him move places like that's not sounding right. Right? Every single show, if you follow them on Facebook, there is always a video of his warm ups on the page. And it is so cool. I think it speaks directly to scripting, right? You guys have got to practice, and you have to practice every day, right? It doesn't matter how good you get at this stuff, you have to practice. And here's the other thing, he's not practicing by himself, right? There's someone there giving him feedback. There's someone there making suggestions. Go in the bathroom, right? Try it there and let's see what happens, right? Let's change this space for you. Anything else? You guys aren't talkative, so I thought I'd just tell you my thoughts. Okay. But so important. I know I'm preaching to the choir because you guys are the ones that are here. However, your practice outside of here is what's going to make you awesome and make you really, really comfortable with anything that could possibly come your way. Okay. So let's jump in. Well, first of all, Thursday from 1 to 2, my listings are sitting now what? Okay, Thursday from 1 to 2. My listings are sitting now what? We're going to go through all the options you have for what to do with listings that you're dealing with days on the market. So tune into that. Oh, I'll mute you. If you need that link, just email me and I'll let you know. Okay, let's go to today's script. I'm going to share my screen and then you guys can access it on coachjuliedowney.com on the resources page. This will be added to the script book. And when we do the new 2026 one, there's quite a few things that I need to add to it. So this will be in here. But I reached out to a few agents and got their suggestions for what they need right now. And I was completely not surprised with what you guys need. So it is, right, more lead generation and handling objections, right? And the reason I'm not surprised that you guys are getting that is because the market's shifting. And what that means is that the motivation of the buyers and sellers is shifting. Okay, are we seeing that? Yes. Okay, what's that look like to you guys? It looks like people not being ready to sell. It looks like them asking more questions about the process. It looks like more deals falling apart. Let's think about that. Why does motivation cause deals to fall apart? Right? Because if they are not under the gun, highly, highly, highly motivated, gonna be homeless next week if they don't do this deal, which is what we had 2 years ago, they can walk away for silly things, right? So remember that everything is harder now because motivation has shifted. Okay. And this is where we're headed. Hang on, right? This is the new market that you're in. This is the typical market. That's what I'm going to say. The last 3 years, we've been in this weird little bubble that none of us truly knew what to do with. This is real estate. Okay. So here we go. All right. And I'm going to help you guys manage all of this. Okay. So the first couple things, and you're hearing me say it all the time, you have to talk to more people. Okay. Because if more of your deals are going to fall apart, you have to have more pendings in line to backfill. Right? If more people are going to choose to wait, you have to talk to more people to find the people that are ready now. Okay. So finding the motivated is the key. Lots of people are considering it. There's only a small percentage who are motivated enough to actually do something right now and start moving with you. Okay. Objections. How many of you feel like you're handling objections a lot more than you used to be? Good. I was scared for a second. I was like, ooh, maybe not. Yeah. Okay. So, what I thought we'd start with, number one, I would like you guys to put in the chat box some objections you're hearing. Okay. Because it's always easier if we can work with the objections you're actually facing. First and foremost, I'm going to teach you the strategy behind handling any objection. Okay. Because if you know this strategy, then you are absolutely okay to handle whatever comes your way. Okay. Now, we started with a video about practice. You don't do this naturally without practice. Okay. So you guys are going to have to practice this with a role play partner, and you're going to have to still work through this stuff to get really good at it. Okay. So a couple things I want to tell you first. It should be very conversational, right? When you practice it, it should be conversational. Here's the biggest thing. You have to separate yourself from the outcome. If you don't care what they say at the end, it makes handling these objections a lot different. And here's what I mean about that. If you are holding on so tight to this person buying or selling that it changes whether you hit your goals or don't, right? You're attached to the outcome. Okay. So it goes all the way back, unfortunately, right? You got to talk to more people. So you're not as attached to the outcome. You got to have more business, right? But you have to really not be attached to the outcome. Okay. You can't care what they say. Here's the other thing. No matter where you get in their objections, you can help them. No matter where you end up in these objections, you can help them, right? It may not be help them close a deal in the next 30, 60, 90 days, which is ultimately what we want, but you have a way to help them, and just do that and wait until they're ready. Okay. You guys are awesome. All of these, are you reading the objections that are coming in? Wait. Right? Okay. Yep. List high, come down later. That's a big one. I can't buy without selling. You guys, here it is. Okay. It's not anything crazy. We didn't hear anything crazy on there. You're all dealing with the same thing. So learn how to handle these. Okay. And here we go. The objection I chose to use was we want to wait. So great. We're going to handle the majority of these for you guys on this because it is the most common one you're getting right now. Okay, here's the strategy. Okay, 4 steps in this strategy. The first is you have to acknowledge and empathize with them. You have to understand that they have a concern about it. If you jump right over that and start handling it, you don't have their understanding that you truly understood what they were concerned about, okay, or what their initial concern was. Second step, ask questions. That's our thing. You guys should have it all over your workspace. Ask questions, ask questions, ask questions, right? Because what you have to do is dig deeper to find out the true concern, right? Some of you have some of those in here. Interest rates. Oh, I'm echoing. But the majority of them, right? You have to dig down deeper and find out what truly is making them wait, right? Then you have to explain your experience. You have to support it with data, value, or a story of an experience you've had with someone who's waited. Okay. And then you have to close the loop. And what the closing the loop looks like is you confirm we've handled that objection and then find out what's following that. Okay, so now we've handled that. What are you concerned about next? Okay, so is anyone willing to be my role play partner for this? And if you're willing, we've got some great agents on here, so I should have some good role play partners. I want to do numerous ones. Okay. So I would love to spend the rest of the time going through this and watching you guys role play this. So some of you be willing to step up and be my buyer that's hesitant or my seller that wants to wait and list. Okay. Christopher.
I got you.
Nice. I know it. All right. Get ready. Think of who's next. Wake up, get your coffee, shake yourself around, whatever you need. All right, Christopher. So what do you think? Are you ready to get your house on the market?
Well, I'm just not sure. It seems like the market's, a little slow right now. So I think we're going to wait until it picks back up.
Gotcha. Okay. So you're wanting to wait until the market picks back up a little bit.
Yeah, I think it's
Yeah.
best when there's a lot of activity out there, for homes that's,
Okay.
the best time for us to be on the market.
And talk to me about activity. What kind of activity are you looking for?
Well, when there's a lot of homes on the market, then, it seems like there's a lot of open houses, and then homes, to me, at least when I look at it, seem to sell quicker when there's a lot of homes on the market.
Okay. And what does selling quicker do for you?
Well, I mean, we just don't want to be for sale for a long time, I guess.
Okay. Got it. And are you concerned that sitting might make you need to sell it for less? Sometimes that
Absolutely.
happens.
Yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely.
Yeah. Yeah. So that definitely can happen. Well, I can show you some houses actually, even in this market, that were able to sell in 24 hours and get an offer. Is that
Oh,
what's most
really?
important to you, is trying to sell it real quick?
Yeah, I mean, it doesn't have to be in 24 hours, but we just don't want to go through the long process of a lot of showings and, people that
Got
aren't
it.
real interested and just, having to like have the house ready for a long time, if that makes sense.
Sure. Yeah. Well, let me ask you, how many is lots of showings?
Um, I mean, we don't want like multiples a day.
Okay. Got it. So the average number of showings till we get houses sold, you're doing great, is 8. Does 8 feel like too many showings for you?
No, we could do 8.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, I just don't want like 50.
Okay, got it. You don't want 50. Well, and we can absolutely control that. So, depending on our marketing strategy and our pricing strategy, we get to decide how quickly we want to sell the property. So, you
Okay.
tell me what's most important, and we'll pick our marketing strategy around that.
Okay, yeah, like I said, I don't want a lot of showings, but I also don't want to lose money or like not make enough money.
Yeah, absolutely. And have you done the breakdown of where your threshold is that you could be losing money?
No, not really.
Not really. Okay. Well, definitely we
Well, I
want
mean,
to.
I
Do you
know
have an
what I know
idea of where?
yeah. I mean, I know we need, we still owe 200, right around 200,000 on the house. So,
Okay.
and I know, we just moved in a couple of years ago, so we don't expect to make a ton of money. Because
Okay.
I know there's fees and things in there.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
we just don't want to at the end, for sure, I don't want to have to like pay to sell my house.
Got it. Yep. Nope. I don't want you to have to pay to sell this house either. And honestly, knowing the market, I don't think you should have to. However, let me look at that. But just to be super clear, so if we were able to sell it without a ton of showings, with a reasonable amount of showings, and put some money in your pocket, most definitely make sure we're not going to give it away or have you lose money at all. Are you ready to put the house on the market?
Yeah, I mean, I don't think, I'm pretty certain that home prices aren't going to like go up super high in the next couple of months. So, yeah, that would be fine.
Okay, great. So let's get going.
All right.
Okay, guys, what'd you learn? That was an excellent one for lots of reasons. What'd you learn? What'd you hear?
I'm not sure Chris really wants to sell his house.
Right, motivation. That's exactly what we're talking about. How do you dig to the motivation, right? And if, right, he's either going to overcome all these objections or not, right? And he may not be ready to sell his house, but he was ready to sign the contract. Right. So I got him there. I got him comfortable with what he was concerned about when we started the conversation. Right. So he's much more likely now than he was at the beginning. Don't you think? Did you feel that, Christopher, in your body?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I had some
That's what
hesitations and then it kind of, yeah, I was like, okay.
Yeah, that's what you want when you're role playing too. When they've truly got you and you're like, yeah, that makes sense, right? Like I don't have an objection now. Yes, she handled them.
Yeah, well, and I think because you also you had the answers and like what does this look like and not well you just need to get it on the market and the market will tell you what what the right price right and sometimes I think agents do that. It's just like they'll do anything to get the listing and beat them up later, but I didn't feel like that.
Yes, absolutely. And that goes back to knowing your market, right? And your time blocking should be every Monday afternoon from 1 to 3. You're studying your market and you're regurgitating it back out to every one of your clients that you're working with right now. Okay. So if you're studying your market, you know what I knew about 8 showings per offer. And that is the actual number because I looked at it last week. Okay. But you have to know those things. And in one glance, you can find out a lot about the market, right? What's your list to sale price? How much is that separating? That's what I want to know in 2 seconds. I want to know how many showings to accepted offer is on average, right? In my price point and area. And I know those 2 things, and I can pretty much manage all sellers out there. Okay. What else did you hear? Sarah, you came off. Hi, Heidi. Lots of people keep popping on.
Yeah, your clarifying questions and that you knew the market, you were able to respond after you clarified his concerns.
Okay. And too many people try to answer, right? Don't answer. Ask to understand. You have to ask to understand because it could mean a lot of things why he wants to wait. And I had to find out what was concerning him about waiting. Yep, good. Dan?
Well, I think that, obviously it was role play and Chris played along, but I think what if, in this case, Christopher was like, well, I really don't want that many showings when it's like, that's, how do you get
Great, let's
across
do it.
really, that's what you're going to have to
Are
do
you ready?
to sell your house.
Yeah, absolutely. And here's the other piece that's missing from this role play is we don't have a price. Okay. So I want to create a price because there will be, right? This becomes part of the conversation. So let's say we owe 200 on this property and 250 is our leave money on the table. Okay. 275 is where I think we can list it. Okay. So I think we can probably sell it for 275. 250 is our drop dead. Okay. So let's role play this because this is so perfect. Dan, will you be my person this time?
Sure.
Okay.
I'm gonna be a lot
Awesome.
harder than Christopher was, just so you know.
You got it. I like it. As hard as you can be. Okay.
Are you saying I'm too nice?
I
Yes,
know.
yes.
Yeah. Okay. Dan, you said 8 is too many showings. So talk to me about really how quickly do you guys want to sell this property?
Well, I mean, we want to get it sold, but we want to make sure we get the price we want so we know where, we can get to where we want to be next.
Okay, great. And we've talked about you definitely don't want to go below 250 because that's when you'd be bringing money to the table.
Definitely. We can't do that. It
You
doesn't
got it.
it doesn't make sense to
Yeah,
sell the house if we don't
Yeah.
need to lose money.
got it. Absolutely. So we've talked about listing it at 275. That's kind of where the market is telling us. Now we could be off, right? Either way, a little bit either way. However, we looked at the showing numbers. It seems like that's going to bridge all the price points, right? We feel really good about that's going to make us, from what we can tell on the market, the number one choice for all the buyers. So let me ask, if you were able to sell it for 275, make sure you got that number, and had to deal with 8 showings, is that worth selling the property?
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, because I heard,
Okay.
my neighbor sold his house for 300, and I think our
Yeah.
house was just as nice. I mean, that was, that was a couple years ago. So, but I mean, so has the
Mhm.
market really changed that much in the last 2 years that he's going to get 300, and now we have to really settle for 275? Because I thought we were going to get 300 like he did.
Yeah, absolutely. And remember, when we looked at the comps, you looked at his house and we could not compete with his house, correct? He had an extra bathroom and an extra bedroom and a fenced yard. And, right? So when we did this work, you even acknowledged that we could not compete with 300, correct?
Yeah, I guess you're
Yeah,
right.
I know. And I'm sorry. I tell you, I so wish that I could take us back to 2 years ago, also, right? That's when my job was so much easier, too, but we can't. So, unfortunately, yeah, 275 is where we're at right now. And when we initially talked, as long as you guys could get out without having to pay any money, it was still worth it to sell this property. Is that still the same situation?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, like how quick
Okay.
do you think we could sell if we listed for
Yeah.
275?
Yeah. So I think at 275, what the market is showing us that on average, and really in 275, I bet there's 4 showings. Okay. I don't know that one. I would have looked it up. In your price point, I mean, it looks like we may have to deal with 4 to 8 showings. But if you really did not want to do that many showings, we absolutely could go all the way down to 250 and probably get someone in here super fast to write an offer. But that's completely up to you and how much you want to deal with the showings, because I do understand it's a pain.
Yeah, I mean, this time out for that. Do you think that common sense would tell me if we lower the price, we're going to get
Mhm.
more showings, we're going to get more
Oh,
interest, not the other way around?
potentially. Okay. And ask that question. Okay. So stay in role play.
Yeah. So, are you saying if we go lower, we'll have less showings?
Here's the thing. What I think is the lower we go, the more likely we are to get an offer from one of the first couple people that walk in the door. And let me show you how this works. Okay. So if you look at the numbers at 275, it's 8 showings, right? If you look at the numbers at 250, it's 4 showings. So it's going to happen faster. So what I truly think is that we have the opportunity to get a list price offer in one of our first couple showings.
Gotcha.
So we
Okay.
may get more people calling in right away, but it doesn't mean we have to show them. Once we have our perfect offer, we take it and go.
That
And
makes
with
that
all
makes
that
sense.
interest, yeah, we could drum up a bunch of people that are interested and get them competing, and we could bid it right back up to 275.
Yeah, that makes sense, Julie.
Yeah. So what do you think? Where do you want to start? Are you
Well, I think
better at
if you think
250?
if you think you can sell it at 275, then we want to make some money. Let's do that.
Okay. And let me just double check. If we have to have 4, 8, 10 showings, are you okay with that?
Yeah, I guess so.
Okay. Because I just want to make sure we're clear that if we're picking this strategy to go at the market value, right, we're likely going to react just like other homes that are currently on the market. So I don't want to overpromise at this price point. I want to be super clear that we'll probably be right around this average.
Okay, yeah, let's do it.
Okay. And remember, Dan, every Monday I'm going to send you a market update. So you're going to know at all times exactly where the listings you're competing with are going to fall and how many showings. So within 7 days, we're going to know real quick exactly where we are and what we need to do next.
Okay.
Sound good?
Yep.
You weren't hard enough, Dan. What'd you guys hear? What'd you hear?
Well, that's what I was gonna say. Dan was too soft.
Yeah.
Or I'm just that good.
Well, that's the other thing I heard, that it really was getting to which is the priority, right? You can't have your cake and eat it too.
Right.
It's, you can't,
Never.
get top dollar and have no showings, right?
Right.
That's
Yeah.
not how the world works. And so which is more important to you? And you said the money was more important to you. So can you live with this to get more money? Yes.
Ding, ding, ding. Yes. Here's the other thing, guys, is go back to Christopher starting this role play, right? He didn't really know why he wanted a better market, right? The market's slow right now. He's hearing that on the news. He doesn't even know what slow means. What does slow mean to you, Mr. Seller? He's like, I don't even know. I don't know what slow means, right? So, and that is very common. That is something to watch for. They truly don't even know it. So a lot of times you're going to ask these questions and it's really going to stop them in their tracks and be like, I guess I don't truly know why that's a problem. Okay. So if it's not a problem, then what's next? Okay. Sarah, did you have something?
No.
Nope. Okay. What else? What'd you guys learn? Did you take away some things with this strategy today? Yes. Let's run through a couple of these, right? Wait until spring to list, right? That's going to be a either or. If we list now, we could do it for this amount and get you closed. If we wait till spring, we might likely do it for this amount. And here's your carrying costs from now until then. Here's how much it's going to cost you to hold the house until then. And which would you choose? Are you willing to gamble on the next market and hope there's not a pandemic that comes along? Or are you ready to go right now when we know the market, we know exactly what we're up against, and in the spring we'll have no idea? Okay, so those are their choices. Oh, that was Brandy. What the market and the rates do, right? Understand that. We've talked about this before when interest rates were becoming such an issue. Honestly, guys, it's about budget, not rate. It's about how much they can afford per month, not the interest rate 9 times out of 10. And they've got an interest rate in their head that they won't go over. When you sit down and truly talk to them about their budget, right? And then talk to them about where do you want rates to go? Okay, so they're at 7 now. Where do you want them to go? You want them to be at 3 again? That's another pandemic, right? So that could be a while till you're going to see that. Are you willing to wait another, I don't know, when do pandemics come? 30 years, 100 years? Great, let's do it, right? But numbers show we're likely not going to get back to that. So do you want to sell your house? Okay. Dan, we kind of did that on the higher price, right? Can't buy without selling first, right? That is one that we can dig into next week. Mike, I'll write that down because we're at 9 o'clock. And then we got, oh, Christopher, we'll do yours too. Okay. All right, you guys are awesome. Hopefully you got some good ahas on this one. I'd love to see a thumbs up if you did, if you got some stuff you can take with you. A couple of your things is practice, practice, practice. Practice this strategy, okay? And you'll be tons better by next week, next Tuesday when I see you then. All right, bye everybody. Have a great week. Handle objections.